How's his family? Have you got a chance to talk to them? I know they're in the New Orleans area.
Yes, I have. I've talked several times with his mother. And you know, the best way I can say it is my heart goes out to her. You know, she's obviously devastated, heartbroken. You know, whatever adjective you want to use to describe, she's crushed. You know, this is her loved one. It's her son. You know, I'm sure a lot of us in this room are parents. Could you imagine what it would feel like to get this information about your child? Just absolutely devastating. You know, so again, my heart goes out to her. She's in a lot of pain right now. She's got a long road to recover and to be able to cope with this. And you know, what I want her to know is we're going to do everything we can to help her through that process. You know, we investigate these cases. We have the families in mind. It's not just a case to us. It's very personal. You know, we take a lot of pride in the fact that we look at these things just as if they were our family members. That's how much commitment we have to it. So, but obviously, like I said, she's devastated. She's really devastated. Anything else?
I was wondering if you could provide a little context on one thing, or maybe I was wondering how early you started suspecting dismemberment was a possibility, because I see in the court records that one of the ways that torso was identified was by matching a description, the girlfriend's description of his genitals, and I was wondering why she was coming to police describing that level of detail in her initial report.
Well, keep in mind, when that torso was found, there really wasn't a lot to go on, okay, just because of how much of the torso was there. About the only thing that there was you know, the genitalia was still intact.
Right.
So, you know, one of the things that we questioned was whether or not our missing person was circumcised or not.
Right, and I'm just wondering why the girlfriend came to police describing that detail unless there was already suspicion that he'd been dismembered? Or is that just a standard
No,
detail to
that was,
provide?
I think that was a question that was prompted by us.
Okay.
To kind of clarify that.
Okay.
Anything else? All right. Well, listen, again, I appreciate it. Yes?
Was there any evasiveness that was seen in the initial parts of the investigation that, in hindsight, have become more problematic?
Well, I wouldn't say anything that's become problematic. You know, one of the things, again, from the very beginning, that kind of struck us as a little bit odd about this case was we had a girlfriend that came forward and reported her boyfriend missing, which in and of itself is pretty normal. However, within a very short period of time, I think a day or so, she actually stopped cooperating with the investigation. She quit returning phone calls. You know, she wouldn't return phone calls. She wouldn't answer her phone. We had scheduled her for an interview at one point, and she failed to show up for that interview with no explanation why. So a lot of those little things that just kind of become red flags to us.
You got a mug shot? You got a picture of him?
Hey, Randy, I've been working on that for the past few days, to be honest with you, getting a mug shot. Right before we came in here, the authorities in Louisiana sent me the mug shot. So as soon as I leave here and I get back to my office, I will forward that out to everybody to make sure everybody has it.
Can you repeat where again was she arrested in Louisiana?
In Metairie, Louisiana, a small town just outside of New Orleans.
The circumstances of her apprehension, can you discuss that at all? I mean, was it a traffic stop or?
We once we figured out where she was at, we had, again, all of my homicide detectives were in Louisiana, following up on leads. We were able to identify an apartment complex she was in, and as she came out to get into a vehicle to leave, that's when she was arrested.
By your officers?
Well, it was our officers along with the authorities there in Louisiana. There was several different agencies in Louisiana helped us out quite a bit. You know, the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Department, namely. They helped us out quite a bit, the Marshal Service. And so, you know, again, when you go to these areas like, you know, we go to Louisiana, we're not, you know, we don't know the lay of the land, so to say, so we have to rely pretty heavily on the other agencies. So, again, I would caution that we don't know for a fact that that torso is our missing person. You know, obviously the timing of everything, the timeline, you know, him being reported missing, that torso being found, it's safe to say that that's our suspicion at this point. But we just don't know that to be fact yet until the DNA comes back. Again, I appreciate y'all coming out today. Hope I was able to answer a few of y'all's questions satisfactorily. But as this case moves forward, should anything else break, we come up with any other suspects, or we get a positive identification or something of that nature, I'll make sure and get that information out to all of y'all so y'all have it. Okay? All right, thank y'all very much.
Thank you.